On this episode of The Hunt for Amazing Treasures, an amateur archaeologist chasing a lifelong dream sets off into the deserts of Oman in search of the legendary lost city of Ubar.
We're about 30 kilometers from where we want to be.
And when $9 million worth of masterpiece paintings are stolen, we'll join the special unit of LA art detectives who track them down.
That looks like our guys.
And that looks like a painting.
The Hunt for Amazing Treasure, narrated by Mark Hamill.
It's mentioned in the Quran, the holiest book of the Muslim faith, and described in the tales of the Arabian Nights, the mysterious city of Ubar, a beautiful city of wealth and riches built by the grandson of Noah and lost for thousands of years beneath the desert sands. Not until the 1980s did the legend come to life, when an amateur archaeologist in Los Angeles stumbled upon the tale. His name, Nicholas Clapp.
Look at that.
There's an old poem that goes, "He is crazed with the spell of far Arabia. They have stolen his wits away." My wife, Kay, certainly did put up with a lot. To even think of finding Ubar was to chase after a mirage.
The search for the lost city of Ubar started in the 1930s when the British explorer Bertrand Thomas, accompanied by a band of Bedouin nomads, became the first Westerner to cross the treacherous sands of Arabia's Ruba Hali Desert. On his trek, he made an incredible discovery, an ancient caravan route over 100 yards wide. One of his Bedouin guides pointed with excitement and exclaimed, "Look, Sahib, there is the road to Ubar. Our fathers tell us that it was a great city of old, rich in treasure, with a date garden and a fort of gold. Now it lies buried a few days to the north." With water and supplies running dangerously low, Thomas knew he couldn't chance a detour to search for the lost city. Instead, he recorded his location and gave the information to his friend T.E. Lawrence, better known as Lawrence of Arabia. Lawrence, a trained archaeologist with a vast knowledge and love of Arabia, was thrilled at the prospect of searching for Ubar. He told a friend, "I am convinced that the remains of an ancient Arab civilization are to be found in that desert. There is always some substance to these Arab tales." But in 1935, Lawrence was killed in a motorcycle accident before he could even take up the search for the lost city of Ubar, a place he called the Atlantis of the Sands. Nick Clapp, an incurable romantic, searches the stacks at the Huntington Library in San Marino, California, looking for clues, while his partner, George Hedges, raises money to fund an expedition into the desert of Oman.
This was Arabia, Arabia in the days of the incense trade. And in a way, here was a treasure map, for right where it ought to be, just north of where the finest frankincense was grown, is the land of the Yobaratai. That's Latin for Uberites. A city to look for.
With new information and renewed excitement, Clapp takes his findings to NASA and enlists their help. NASA is intrigued and agrees to lend support. On its 96th orbit, as the space shuttle passes above the Ruba Hali Desert, its 60-foot radar antenna is deployed. The radar is so powerful, it can literally see beneath the sand and take pictures. Armed with these radar images and other satellite information, Clapp now teams with NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory to analyze the photographs.
What we want to do is go up in here.
Through high-tech digital imaging, a composite image appears, a picture that strips away thousands of years of sand. A distinct track emerges. Could this be the ancient road to Ubar?
And we have got a good track all the way up through here.
That's incredible.
Okay.
The only way to find out is to assemble a team of experts and challenge the Rubahali Desert and search for the lost city of Ubar. The principal members are British explorer Sir Ranulph Fiennes, geologist Ron Blond, and archaeologist Eurus Zarins. Traveling with a limited supply of food, water, and fuel in the unforgiving Rubahali, navigation can be a life or death affair. The team uses a state-of-the-art satellite navigation system.
We need to find a position for us. Very difficult to navigate around here. Everything, all the dunes look very similar when you're trying to navigate.
Incredibly enough, the system fails.
Uh-oh.
They're forced to navigate the old-fashioned way, dead reckoning.
Well, I think you want to generally aim for that dune out there.
Okay.
That gets you in the right direction.
It isn't long before the team is lost in the sea of towering dunes. Just before dawn, they try the navigation system again. This time, luck is on their side.
Okay, we got a reading. And it looks like we're about 30 kilometers from where we want to be.
That's not too good.
No, we're up here by this dune. It's this dune behind us. And where we want to be is all the way over here. And it's roughly 30 kilometers between the two, but we can't go straight there. We're going to have to work our way back down this dune street.
To be safe, they stop every few miles to get a compass reading. One slight miscalculation could throw them dangerously off course again. After carefully picking their way, if their calculations are correct, they should be able to see the road to Ubar at the crest of this dune. As seen from space and enhanced at the JPL lab, this track is clearly visible below the 600-foot dune. To their amazement, there it is, glimmering in the sand, the ancient road to the mysterious lost city of Ubar. This is the clue they've been waiting for. As they continue northward, their supplies running low, the heat unbearable, a key question forms. How in the world could a city have survived in this barren wasteland without water? Impossible. Ubar couldn't lie in this direction. We're on the right road, but we're heading the wrong way. After consulting their NASA maps, the team decides to reverse course and follow the tracks that converge on the ancient watering hole called Sisher, now a modern settlement. Nick Clapp and his team meet with the local elders. According to legend, the ruins nearby are said to be a 500-year-old fort. This is enough to intrigue them. And archaeologist Eurus Zarins leads them into the field.
I think the easiest way to find buried objects is to dig them up myself.
With the aid of more technology, ground-penetrating radar, they're able to see beneath the surface of the desert and get a graphic readout that will show them a picture of what lies buried below. At 30 feet, they spot their first clue, an open shaft.
An old well?
This is where it's coming down, right?
Yeah, it's coming down here.
Good.
The radar assures them there are ruins hidden below. Could this be the lost city of Ubar? As the team grows anxious, Sisher begins to reveal shards of treasure, pieces of pottery from ancient Greece and Syria dating as far back as 2800 BC. Other pieces date the site as old as 5,000 years. Was this a tiny oasis, a watering hole along the road to Ubar? Or is it, as they hope, the fabled city itself?
Well,
That answer is uncovered 2 weeks into the dig. Following the base of a wall, they discover an unexpected curve.
Comes off clean. Got to curve around. So it's got to make a kind of a semicircle.
As the jigsaw pieces come together, a picture comes into focus. Walls lead to towers, then more walls and more towers. Is this a fort? A city? Is this finally, thousands of years after disappearing in the desert, Ubar?
Look real good, so I'd say take it out like this.
Exhausted, excited, and fueled with this new information, Nick Clapp goes back to the Quran to look for an answer. The description he finds is uncanny. In particular, a passage describing a city of lofty buildings with 4 towers. After years of searching, the hunt is over. They have indeed found the lost city of Ubar. But what happened to the people of Ubar? Legend says they were struck down by God, who was angry at them for their lustful ways. The earth shook and swallowed them whole. There's no question that water was the key to Ubar's existence. And this is why the walls of the great city were built around this well. The riddle as to the whereabouts of the lost city of Ubar has finally been solved, and the discovery has been called one of the major archaeological finds of the 20th century. As many of her artifacts are unearthed, new questions arise. Where are Ubar's golden jewels? And what other magnificent treasures are buried beneath the sands of the Ruba Holly Desert? Only time will tell.
The hunt for amazing treasures will continue in a moment.
Los Angeles, a city of contradictions. Urban and suburban America butted up against the glitzy world of Tinseltown and big money. As in all big cities, crime is a problem. The violent crimes you see on television every night. But there's another type of crime that rarely makes the news. Art theft. Rare and extremely valuable masterpieces that often vanish without a trace. And the Los Angeles Police Department has to solve all of these crimes. The high-priced, high-stakes world of the international art scene is a billion-dollar industry where the price of a single work of art can range from a few $100s to many millions of dollars. And with the stakes this high, theft and forgery are big business too. That's where the LAPD enters the scene. Housed within this building is a unique unit of detectives, professional treasure hunters who specialize in the recovery of very high-priced works of art.
I work the art theft detail, and it requires a certain types of knowledge, certain tactics of its own, but it's all under doing police investigations. Okay, thank you. We handle a broad range of cases. It's something that's very unique in itself.
Instead of finding evidence or property that was jewelry or some nondescript items that were very valuable, we would be recovering these fabulous Monets or Renoirs or Picassos.
The thing about art cases is they are very individual. The cast of characters in art theft is amazing because each case seems to have some really interesting individuals.
The greatest case detectives Martin and Bella worked involved the theft of $9 million worth of masters' paintings that an elderly widow had inherited from her wealthy sister. Fearing for their safety in her small apartment, she placed them in a public storage unit, thinking no one would bother them there. And she diligently checked on them every 6 months. There, the paintings remained untouched for 13 years, until one day in 1992, the paintings vanished.
What was unusual about it was there was no sign of forced entry, and the lock was still right there on the storage bin. So that began the investigation on these.
This kind of investigation is a very tricky game, with black market thieves trying to outsmart them. These treasure hunting detectives have spent years developing techniques to crack this type of crime. But LAPD's art unit was all the brainchild of one very sharp cop, Detective Bill Martin.
There just was no system or method of recovering it. So what I did was I asked everybody when they came across an art theft to give it to me, and I would Xerox a copy of it, and I started cross-referencing the art cases and started making a few recoveries. That's basically how it started. There's been a lot of different things that have been recovered. Everything from rare old paintings and new modern paintings and lithographs and statues and one-of-a-kind antiques. Many, many things.
Once I have a photograph, then what I try to do is put together a bulletin that goes out to galleries, to dealers, to museums, to let them know what is out there that's missing so that they can look for it. This whole thing of art theft is really a hidden type of crime.
Usually the work of art is targeted. The suspect knows the value of the work of art and it has some kind of plan on how to move it. If you steal a Picasso painting, you're not going to take Picasso's name off of it. And it's an individual work. So the thief has to have some knowledge of the art community and how to move the artwork that he steals.
This was the key to unraveling the $9 million case. After sitting on the paintings for more than a year, the thieves tried to unload them. That's when detectives Martin and Bella picked up the trail, which led them to a small house in a quiet Los Angeles neighborhood.
We actually watched, what believed to be, a painting coming in and from a trunk of a car going into a house.
After getting a search warrant, they made their move later that night.
You're always a little bit nervous thinking, oh, did I act too soon or too late?
And we couldn't find the painting that went in or anything else, and it was perplexing at the time.
You start to get a little bit discouraged thinking, oh no, they're gone.
Thinking the paintings may have slipped through their fingers, they were about to give up the search. The only place they hadn't looked was a back shed. They decided to give it a look.
And we were searching all over in this back house, and it was a fairly small house.
We were walking around thinking, wow, this is too small. It would only take a few minutes to really go through the whole place, and we couldn't find anything. And there was a really sharp FBI agent that, I guess he had worked narcotics for a while, and he's inspecting and inspecting, and he's looking at the drywall around this one location. And he noticed that there was some, I guess, the dust from the drywall on the ground, and he also noticed that the drywall was screwed in rather than just hammered in with nails. And starts snooping around in there and pulling back, and all of a sudden he pulled back a portion of the wall.
Get a light back here so we can take a look.
Oh my God.
There we go.
Bingo. Look at this.
And there behind the wall were the paintings wrapped in bubble wrap. So it was really quite thrilling to see them back there, and yes, there they are.
These are beautiful.
We learned that it was a Picasso,
Like they're in great
a Modigliani, a Degas, a Delacroix, Boldini, a Valtat, Soutine, a Derain, and a Marc Chagall, which collectively were worth approximately $9 million. It was wonderful, actually holding them up. Okay, take a picture of this, me with this. They were beautiful, they were really nice.
Turn around, put your hands back to your head.
Man.
Put them up. Put them up.
I don't think at first they knew the value of the paintings. It just seems that they weren't really that sophisticated with it. One of the guys was a handyman at a public storage location. And it appears that he literally took the whole door off and then put it back on. He pretty much had full reign of the place.
We'll put you in the car and we'll talk about it.
I don't believe that he knew that the paintings were in there. I think that he just was burglarizing and stumbled into, a really good find.
The recovery of these paintings with a total value of $9 million is the unit's single biggest case to date. What started as an idea by Detective Bill Martin has turned into the nation's only police unit devoted entirely to the recovery of stolen art.
It really runs the whole gamut, so I never know from day to day what type of case I may run into.
Sometimes I'm amazed when you're holding a Renoir, you're holding a Picasso, an original painting, and you've got it in your hands, and you're in charge of it, and you're taking care of it, and you say, wow, it is amazing.
I see myself as the one who ultimately is trying to get back these wonderful treasures. And because of the value of the paintings, I mean, it's just so important to be able to find them.
These detectives could work other types of crime, but they've chosen this specialized unit where they make their living hunting down priceless art treasures. To date, LAPD's Art Theft Unit has recovered more than $30 million worth of stolen artwork. That figure rises every year with every treasure they return to its rightful owner.
We'll be right back with the hunt for amazing treasures.